Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Moin. Hello, people of the internet. Don't be scared, it's me. I just shed my skin.
It's not right.
It cools.
If you say so. Can't be good.
Hello, Rumbly, Demon Sub, Dutch, and Hasboy. Deadly. Oh, there is beard. It's just freshly shaven.
It's a great shower curtain, isn't it? It's from the Baby Yoda show.
Featuring and starring Baby Yoda.
I wish I was in the bath. It'd be cooler. It's ridiculous. I've want him ridiculed.
Speaking of getting colder, having a cold one.
At least you're not on your Hitler juice.
I was contemplating about...
Oh, no. You gotta calm down, man.
I guess going on with that is extra temperatures that won't go well.
No,
Hello,
no,
Amanda.
you're right about. You're better sticking to wormwood-infused absinthe over that brown lemonade stuff that you drink, because it's not right.
You say so.
I do. Not soon enough, Demon. Not soon enough. I think I speak for us all when I say, why the fuck is it so hot? I still haven't seen any of these fucking thunderstorms that they fucking said we're going to get. I imagine that's why that guy in Nottingham drove over those people this morning. It's because he was waiting for fucking thunderstorms that never came either. And I could say 100% that he is guilt-free. Because if I had access to a car, I would run over people.
Too hot to think is a...
It's like too drunk to fuck by the Dead Kennedys.
Exactly.
Too drunk, too drunk, too drunk, too drunk, too drunk.
I think we should do a special episode on music at some point.
Yes. All of that. Start with the sweet, sweet musings of Dead Kennedys, and we work our way up to Skunk and Nancy.
I think I need some toy dolls with that.
Could be.
Denzian had thunderstorm knots last night.
Oh, you show off.
He's just saying that to annoy you. I bet there wasn't any thunderstorm.
You keep telling me there's been some Korean, but that was days ago, and it still hasn't made it fucking down here. It's an outrage. An outrage. I want to be bald.
Yeah. So today, rain is only predicted next week over here. Yeah, I think Eastern Germany is having some thunderstorms at the end of the week, and we are going to have some maybe next week. But
sure.
There's no way to be sure because that's the weather forecast for you.
Oh dear.
So we're going to take it slow today, because we're all basically baking in our own soot. What project do we have for our little friends at home?
It's so hot I could cook in my pants. Do a little crotch pot cooking.
Let's see.
Our survey says
Hobby Traveler by Dark Danian.
That will work. Oh my god. Oh my god. So
He's on the road.
He's on the road again, like Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey the Bandit 4, Smokey is the Bandit. What? It's an interesting little project because it's by putting together your kit for when you're out and about. I know Ben was a big fan of this / proponent. And he attempted to make his case in the XLBS. Warren didn't like it, so he shouted him down immediately.
Yeah, and now Lloyd is doing dwarves, which is even more annoying.
Oh, big-headed dwarves. Best kind of dwarves. Some interesting things here. One is I think he made credit the Cult of Games Grandmaster Boris, but the magnification eye lens things, what the kids like. Boris was saying a while ago, they're too heavy. They keep pulling forward and they don't sit right in your head and they're a pain in the hole. So he reattached his to an old baseball cap. And I believe...
Yes, the Boris one.
Yep. That he did the same. Going, this is much better, much more comfortable way of wearing it.
Oh, and he used the Star Wars OTT one.
Hey, you know, why not? You're not going to be seen out in public. Anybody see who the snooker match was? Somebody from Australia against somebody from Finland? Hey, oh, England, perhaps. Tell you where they weren't from. China, because they've all been fucking banned. Anyway.
Yeah, so it started as a mobile workstation at home, and now he's using things to travel.
Well, I mean,
putting magnets everywhere.
You do the whole concert thing. Gives you something to do in the tent of an evening / early morning. Especially, who was it? Somebody was telling me there's a big festival on recently, and somebody got up at like 5 a.m. with a bugle and blew reveille to wake everybody up in the campsite, and then went back into their tent. So nobody was able to work out who it was who was doing it, and they were starting to get very annoyed. Especially when you've only gone to bed at like 4 a.m. after having snorted a line of coke off, you know, somebody's butt cheeks. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and he's using a very intricate construction that is called an ironing table.
Ironing board. That's the way to do it.
Board.
I mean, you can both put your stuff out there and also do your trousers for the next morning.
I think
multifaceted.
I would be scared to hit my knees all the time on that flimsy construction.
Don't sit in the middle then. Sit off to one side or go legs akimbo. Pull yourself right up. Put your legs either side of the thing. The interesting thing about the ironing table is it's adjustable, which means you can raise it up. So in many respects, it's probably the best way to do.
Especially if it's something that's part of the accommodation he's using for his holidays.
I don't know. Many people take ironing boards with them. Just work the principle you won't need any clothes.
There is even a sport that is extreme ironing, so people do take iron boards with them.
I haven't seen extreme ironing in years. That was an interesting point of time in the internet, wasn't it?
Yeah, people sitting ironing clothes somewhere up in the mountains, below the sea.
Literally see people hanging off a cliff face with an ironing board and an iron.
I think the most irritating was the one who jumped out of the plane and did the ironing whilst paragliding down.
It's never going to get a decent crease in the slacks doing it like that, are they? I don't think so.
Probably not.
But yeah, some little interesting nuggets in there about, I suppose, the whole setup, whether it's transporting your minis or keeping your stuff tidy or getting those magnification type light glasses attached in a way that makes them comfortable for a long stint.
I like the cliffhanger at the end with the children's sitting chair that he's thinking of contemplating, how can I adapt this principle to a adult-sized chair?
You know, there's many ways of doing it. I'm a big fan of the, I don't know if you have the Deutschland, you know, the trays for eating your meal, but they've got essentially a beanbag sack on the bottom.
Oh, wait.
So,
you
can steady them. Those are fucking terrific.
These.
That's the bunny.
We use them for laptops on lab.
Right.
Yes.
I've never owned a laptop, so I wouldn't do that. But when you're not watching The Chase, eating your dinner, they're very good for when you're just sitting there doing a bit of hobby.
Yeah, that's not you're not wrong there.
Self-leveling.
Right.
Up until the point they burst, and then your entire room is covered in tiny little balls.
Yes, and I'm not going to risk that.
Tiny little balls.
There,
Anyway,
I think knee cushions is the translated term they use here.
all right, they just get sold as dinner trays here.
Dinner tray, in that regard, always reminds me of the ones you see in American shows where the TV dinner tray has the two little feet coming out of the side and you just put it over your lap.
That only works if it's got something to sit on.
Yeah, but you're sitting on the couch, so there's something to put it on.
Oh, no, you say that. Yes, the beanbag ones work because they just go on your legs at self-level. Bosh.
Yeah, that's
job's good. And don't need to worry about moving my ass and then tilting the tray, which is the problem with having it on legs. Why put it on legs and then put it on the unstable thing you're sitting on? It's fucking madness.
Yeah, but did you get the point where I said it's an American invention?
Well, that is true. It'll never catch on.
Hopefully not. Speaking of catching, what do we catch next?
Crabs.
Crabs.
I like crabs.
Return of the Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Returning.
Yep. So, after having done one spring clean project, Harry Brains decided to dig out a Return of the King box that had been kicking around with some painted miniatures in it, but not sort of fully completed or completed to an acceptable standard. To that end,
that he's happy with.
Yeah. To that end, they all had to get whipped out. And it's fascinating because I haven't seen the Return of the King. Well, I've never seen the Return of the King box, but I haven't seen a lot of those plastics in fucking forever. And certainly haven't seen some of the old weird and wacky stuff like the whatever they're called, Cavendish people from the south or whatever the fuck.
I was going to say I've seen the usual suspects like the companionship and the evil characters, but and orcs, lots of them. But Haradrim, something that I think I've not really seen too often.
So they only really appear in the last film, and then they only really appeared in GW in metal, which meant, like a halfling army, it was a bastard to put together. I think the only thing that wasn't was the mimics. If you wanted a big Oliphant to come and push things over, you could do that. Otherwise, you were paying top dollar. But they're not a bad-looking bunch of folks. And I quite like the vivid, shall we say, nauseating almost color of them. As far as an evil army goes,
they're very colorful.
Every other evil army is shades of brown or black. They all look like they've come out of some sort of fucking emo kid's bedroom. But these guys are very much of the opinion that they're evil and they want people to see them being evil. So I quite like that. Yeah,
it's something different along the table, especially since, if I remember correctly, the tribes of the different orc tribes were also depicted differently in the books.
Could be. Couldn't stomach the books. He's a shit writer. He is, though. He's fucking god-awful. I tried to get my way through the first book, and I was like, Christ on a bike. I'd rather read the Bible. I'll go back and read Maccabees again. Because, as far as writing goes, that's less nauseating than listening to him fucking harp on.
I can hear Ben crying.
Ben's been subjected to this, and Ben will admit himself that, I mean, the story might be good, but his writing style is fucking god-awful. The only person who's worse was his son, Christopher, who, started off editing stuff and then thought, I can write my own shit, just like Dad did. I'll finish his Unfinished Tales. Going, really? You should have just put your head in a bucket of water and saved us all some trouble. But yeah, it's one step away from some sort of old English version of the fucking King James Bible. There's an awful lot of hitherto fours, wherefore art thous, and just fucking god awful. Anyway.
Did I ever mention that I actually read The Lord of the Rings in English?
Oh my god, you poor soul. Was it punishment for something?
No, I was
Had
genuinely
you been
interested.
lax in your timekeeping? And therefore, as a German, you were forced to read Lord of the Rings? I mean, Christ, he's bad. He is so bad.
The thing is, the original translation they did somehow got abandoned when the movies came out, and they did a new translation. And
right, removing all of the words that fucknugget put in.
No, even worse. They modernized it.
So I did try the Silmarillion, and it was a complete horse shit. Anytime you've got to go to the back to the appendix and go, is this guy somebody new, or have we met him already in a different? Oh, we've met him already in another chapter with a different name. Fuck that. That went right out the window after a while. I can see why Lord of the Rings. I can see why Amazon didn't bother using the stories. They just used the appendices from the back of that to form their fucking them ranks of power. Because quite frankly, I mean, at that point you may as well just go ahead and use the appendix and make shit up, because it beats fucking reading the books.
Demon Sub made notes while reading the Silmarillion. Well, if you need to take notes while reading a book, I think that's
not a good
lot.
sign. Really, I mean,
unless you're tasked to do a written summary with quotes.
If you're not doing it for some form of scholastic achievement, then it's just hard work.
Oh god. Well, but anyway, who's the painted miniatures from the games actually look nice and different for a change?
It'd be interesting to see where it goes next. If there's more of the Return of the King to come, or if that is the extent of the lot of them.
I think there needs to be a bit more.
It depends what there is stowed away in a box somewhere. I suppose they sell them again now from Games Workshop, so it's possible you can always get more if you need them.
Yeah, even though the prices are a bit on the higher side.
Yeah, well, people will find out all about that whenever the old world comes back, and then they're asked to pay some ridiculous price for a box set that's old as fuck.
Have we set up a bet system for that yet?
No, we should definitely run a pull on it.
Yeah, there should be some kind of. Will it be more or less? How much will one mini cost? We'll figure something out. Oh god.
I'm trying to think, because at one stage there were some of the Empire box sets were released for Age of Shitmar.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine they've been pulled because they're not releasing some of the stuff because it's already out for... Some of the armies aren't getting new ones because they're in Shitmar. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the price they were charging when they re-released them as city states or city and guilds, whatever the fuck they were called, is going to be a bargain basement price compared to what they charge for the old world.
Oh, I'm going to go one further. You're going to have to buy your bases separately.
Oh god, could you imagine? There's no point even thinking about it.
25 mil base upgrade set, official Games Workshop, the only tournament legal stuff you ever need, and it'll be a pound per base or something ridiculous.
Steaming horseshit. If the old world looks good rules wise, I'm just going to hit the Oathmark plastic boxes. I mean, this is the thing. Theoretically, the rules shouldn't be terrible because they've already got the rules. But then they went, we're going to mix it from 3 editions. I think they said it was going to be a mix of 6th, 7th, or maybe it was 5th, 6th, and 8th, regardless. So it's not going to be a reprint of any of the rules. They're going to cobble together something. And I can only imagine they're going to find some way to pick the worst parts of each of those editions.
Yeah. Let's take the summary of complaint letters we got for the older editions and see which part they complained the most about.
I guarantee you random charges stay in, because random charges were just fucking retarded. Oh Christ, I hated random. There was nothing. Get a set of knights who are outcharged by dwarves because I am the roll of fucking double one, and my opponent rolled fucking 12 on his charge. So I go 2 inches forward, fail my charge, and the next turn he fucking boogaloos at me. And you're just going, what is this horse shittery? Oh, fuck random charges.
I'll
Random
deal with
charges can get right fucked.
If they just reprint 6th, I'm golden. I've still got my 6th edition box.
Ah, they're not going to. I've got everything going back to second. I should have first somewhere, but I'm fucked if I can find first. Anyway, I should have all 8. At the moment, I've got 7, so I won't be going near anything they do. To be brutally honest, as far as games go these days, no, I wouldn't go past 4th if I was playing it. The Old Hammer community, a lot of them play 5th. 5th isn't great. You're starting to branch into Hero Hammer at that point. You're better off playing 3rd or 4th and playing a game that actually is relatively solid without ridiculous shit sprinkled on top.
Since I never
fucking Zinch and your fucking gateway lift the entire fucking unit off in a turn.
Since I never actually played fantasy battles, the editions are all the same to me. So.
Oh, I played the shit out of it.
Yeah, I guess as much.
It was great. But thankfully Kings of War's there now, and it's better. And I don't have to worry about some blender vampire with a Hydra blade coming my way. What was that you say? 20 wounds? Well, fuck.
Dead.
Fuckity fuck. That one vampire's just taken out all my fucking unit.
So where do we go from the Return of the King?
We go to there. I think they'll make it shut and then say that's why we got rid of it. Told you Sigmar was better. I mean, I'm still wondering whether or not they'll ever actually release it, to be brutally honest. They just seem to make an announcement about it whenever Mantic are doing something. It's just like to take the wind out of their sails. Because when they started talking...
It's like this meme with the 2 birds, where the one bird is sitting on the branch, saying something, and the bigger bird comes and just goes, ah!
Screams over them, generally, for release or something like that.
I think I need to make a meme with Kings of War reference.
Oh, it's very, very doable. Because when they started talking about it, when 3rd edition was being released, they were made this big fucking thing about Kislev and Cathay. And then the most recent one where they went, here's a list of all the armies, and Kislev and Cathay aren't in there. What was the whole point of showing off these fucking 2 factions that had never been seen before, and showing off the fucking concept sketches and artwork for them, and then it's just like, yeah, we're not actually doing that. We only said that at the time because we just wanted to annoy people.
We like to hear ourselves talk.
Yeah. Von Karstein Ring. That's interesting. I'm trying to think, because it's set during the War of the Three Emperors, which, depending on what point that is, there may not be a Von Karstein ring. Have to remove those. Because Karstein's only took over in the 1700s. The War of the Three Empires began before then.
But that would mean Games Workshop would need to care about the law?
Well, that is true. They would require them to actually have somebody who knows what the fuck is going on, which is, not going to happen. Anyway.
Intelligent Mr. Toad is doing a Middle-earth mega project, and can I just say the leading entry in this, the text is just chef's kiss. Physical proof that Sauron's employee benefits definitely do not include dental plan. The mouth of Sauron. That's just genius writing.
Especially if you can remember what he looked like from the film.
Yes.
He was full on council estate scumbag. Never seen a toothbrush. But yeah, following Intelligent Mr. Toad's Stalingrad project, he's decided to do another small compact Bijou project. In this case, I think trying to recreate all of Middle-earth. I believe he's also using this as a introduction to wargaming with some people. So, if memory serves, he's doing this to get both the bits and pieces he needs together, but also then to introduce some friends who don't currently wargame into the hobby itself.
Isn't that some kind of cruelty, introducing people to wargaming via the means of Games Workshop?
Oh, well, yeah, pretty much. But it's all right. It'll all be over by Christmas. It's Gondolf.
He looks very angry.
Can't imagine why.
I guess it's because of the heat.
That would make sense. I really like the photography in here as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say he's doing a very good job in using light to emphasize the setting of the miniatures.
Mm.
Nocturnal camping trip for the sunlight challenged. What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, we've all seen those 3 trolls around that campfire in the award-winning Spectrum text adventure game of The Hobbit.
Oh, I was almost spitting my precious Kilkenny when he's now going to say the movie award-winning.
Nope. No. Hobbit text adventure. Every now and again, it would draw in some things, like the door in the house at the start, but also they were in there getting frozen. You just had to, whenever you came across them, you just had to type wait 3 times, and then some would come up and turn them all to stone. Trying to get past fucking Gollum in that bastard wood, though. Oh, Jesus. Kids don't know they're born.
Yeah, text adventures from back in the day were something different.
You cannot go ye Dennis.
It's dangerous. It's likely to be. You're likely to be eaten by a grue. Go north.
Coming at you like Cleopatra.
That's a nice looking one. I wonder if Ben has seen this.
You'll find out on Sunday. I'll find out on Sunday as well, because I'm not filming the XLBS this week.
Oh, are you on leave?
No, I'm just taking a half day.
Oh,
G is over from Florida. So
you're taking a day off the studio to be in the studio and play games with Tauchi?
nope. Meeting him and his missus up in Belfast and do a bit of sightseeing type thing.
What are the usual things you see in Belfast, or you show you to your? I almost said.
Well,
local
obviously
tourists.
you start with the most bombed hotel in Europe. Start with that, go from there.
Is it still standing if it's the most bombed?
Yeah, they kept rebuilding it every time they got exploded.
Sounds like an insurance scam to me.
Well, they did relentlessly have a hotel in Belfast during the Troubles, so really they only had themselves to blame.
Oh, look, floaty ghosts.
It's next door to the Great Northern Tower. Pete, it's the Europa Hotel. Floaty ghosts.
The one in the middle reminds me of the one from Indiana Jones, the Crusader Knight.
It's because of the beard and the chainmail.
Yeah, I think it's mainly the chainmail hood, because that's something I usually don't see.
That's what happened to him after they dropped the Cup of Christ into the massive fucking chasm, and then all ran off and left him there.
Yeah. Well, he was off his shift anyway, so how should he care? I mean, what's keeping ghosts from time traveling? Nothing.
Yeah, laziness, that's what it is. Yeah, transport agencies in 2 buildings next door to Europa. Great Northern Tower and then Millennium House next door. So Sisako 6 is in floor 8 and 9 in Millennium House.
Oh, look, there's a Crispin. Hello, Crispin.
He was here ages ago.
Was he?
And he wandered off to do some work. He was here right at the very start. You ignored him.
I'm a horrible person.
You're a terrible cunt.
Now I see. Yeah, totally overread him.
See? Outrageous. It's an outrage. Like Tony Harrison.
Yeah, I feel guilty now.
You say that, but I'd like to point out that CSAC 06 and 07 had the best return for money out of all 7 CSACs, the 2 out of Northern Ireland. What were you doing in England? Apparently not much, because they had to send over all of Nottingham to us to actually get any cash for people. Oh. We really enjoyed it. It was great fun. You just phone up people in Nottingham and go, give us your money. You can't. Anyway.
You've been she-lobbed.
It's like being tangoed, but less ever-explodey.
Oh, look at that nice little Goblin King.
Could be, if you say so. I quite like the Denethor model in here, but mostly because he looks like Tulsa Doom from Conan. And I don't know if that's intentional.
Yeah, you're right. I was wondering when I saw the minute that something was. I know who it should be, but it reminded me of somebody else. But now that you said it, yep, Tulsa Doom.
100%. There he is. Just, I mean, at least he's not eating tomatoes.
You break into my temple, you kill my child.
Oh, son. For what am I to you if not a father? And that's what he was trying to teach Mini Boromir, whatever his name was.
Yeah. Whatever people think of Conan, I think it's a masterpiece of filmmaking.
That was fantastic.
I need to rewatch that.
People who don't like Conan just, they need to get their head examined.
Conan, what's best in life?
Rolling nothing but sixes.
That's Conan the board gaming edition or something.
Yep. Very much so. I like that.
I'd like a
walking through
remake.
The field.
I'd like a remake of Conan, but we swap Conan for Cohen from Discworld.
Oh, that would be good.
And then just see how that ends.
I seen a remake of Conan recently. Did you know they did one?
Of Conan?
Yeah.
Why?
I've no idea why, because it was fucking awful. But who was it? I want to say it was Aquaman, but it's not Aquaman. He was the fellow who played Duncan Idaho in the new Dune.
Rob Perlman? Jason Momoa?
Yes, that's him.
But isn't that Jason Momoa the Aquaman?
No, is it? No, I don't think it is then. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is him. I don't know. I paid so little attention because it was bad.
Oh, yeah, also Aquaman says Greystoke, so yeah. That's horrible. Why would they do that?
People are just, they're not right. That's why. It was Aquaman. You probably said my man in it. I didn't even see Ron Perlman. But that doesn't mean much, because I mean, I couldn't be bothered with most of the movie. I gave up and walked away a long time ago.
Yeah, remakes equals money, easy money for the time being, because the name sells.
Yeah.
But it must be really bad, because I didn't even hear about it.
Well, you can't keep your finger on the pulse all the time.
The second Ewok film has a similar start to Conan.
Caravan of Courage.
That's a comparison.
Second, Battle Friendo was the first, and then Caravan of. Oh, maybe.
Yeah. No, it's you're right. Caravan of Courage is the second, where the kids. The first one is where the kids rescue their parents, and the second one is where she's meeting the old grumpy Grognard in his hidden camp with his speedy little friend.
The Not Look, Not Leia. Those ones.
Yeah.
I don't think they're even on Disney Plus. I think Disney have burnt the films on those ones.
No,
if they would admit they exist.
They were on Disney.
Were they?
Yeah, we watched them.
I was trying to explain them to somebody the other day, and they were going, I've never heard of these films.
Because they were direct to TV. They were never in the cinemas in the US. And
Yeah, that doesn't stop. I mean,
they were. I watched them in the cinemas here. They didn't come to TV initially. Actually, Ewoks was the first movie I went to on my own.
oh dear, that must have been a crushing disappointment for you.
Well, no, I was 8 years old or something, and a massive Star Wars fan. So, nope, that's all fine.
Presumably Ron got killed then early on, because I came in at some point midway through the Conan film going, what's this? I've watched it for a while, went, this is horseshit, and then turned it off. So didn't see the start, didn't see the end, saw a chunk of the middle, wasn't impressed.
Hello, Novos Templar. Greetings back to Kansas. I hope you're having not too many witches and thunderstorms, tornadoes, flying houses.
Look at it. Down to the objective markers.
Very nicely done.
Covered in creepers. Creepy.
Uh-oh. We are only 3 projects in, and I'm also already down 1. That's
well, in your defense, it's very hot.
It is. Ace Ventura 2 was my first solo cinema experience.
Still haven't seen those films.
Either you went alone into the cinema very late, Nick, or you're way younger than myself. Well,
why not both?
Let's go for the next thingamajig projecting.
Sure, let's do that. It may or may not be this one. It's far away.
It's by Night Runner. Shop practice American Civil War for pennies on the dollar. I very much like the complete project in itself. It's a, let's call it a classic terrain and tabletop project. I haven't seen anything that is 3D printed or something. It's all DIY.
It's old school.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Like old people.
Like good people.
Good. It's certainly fascinating seeing somebody breaking out the old soft plastic 170 seconds for wargaming. Just like the old days.
Yeah, and I think I've never seen somebody do trees from package foam.
Right. Oh, you should get out more.
But there's the Bright Evil Day Star. Why are you telling me to go out?
It's a great way away, I'm just saying. If you've missed out on that, God knows what else you've missed out on.
Oh, a lot of things.
It's a terrific way of doing small-scale trees. If you want to go a step beyond that, you can do it with multi-layers of flock. So I know he does use flock later on, but if you go for like a dark flock and then sprinkle your lighter flock on the top, it's like zenithing but with flock.
Yeah, that I know, but to use that you need some kind of armature that carries the flock, and he just
you can just do that. See what I'm doing there with my hand.
But the initial amount of flock needs to grab onto something. You can't just put a tree stump somewhere.
Oh, you've lost me, Ted.
You need branches to put on the flock.
Yeah, so you make your foamy tree, then you flock it with a dark flock, like a dark green, and then you spray either with scenery cement or a spray adhesive, and then you sprinkle your lighter flock on the top.
Okay, you're
zenith it in flock.
I was thinking you were about a different way of making trees.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, same thing, just two-tone flockage.
Yeah.
We're all about the two-tone flockage. Oh,
my word, it's warm.
Fuck my hat and sack my cook. It is nice seeing somebody just breaking out a fuck ton of wood and starting to make picket fences.
Yeah.
And buildings. Obviously, I would do it with balsa because it's not as robust as coffee stirrers, but it's much easier to cut.
That is true. I actually had to buy a different pair of snips to use my coffee stirrer spatula things to get them to size. And even then they will be flying everywhere.
It's why I like balsa. It's I think of beauty. Also, if you're particularly lazy like me, you can just buy a big sheet of balsa and then glue it straight to the front of the building and then draw your planks on with a pen or a pencil. So you don't even have to cut the individual lines.
Yeah,
Which,
but
again,
making something like this fence is again work even with a massive piece of balsa wood.
Oh yeah. That's why you need a tiny, tiny table saw, little hobby table saw. So you can just sit there and go zoom, zoom,
And then you cut
and then get
yourself.
bored and then top one of your fingers, yeah. Then you could run about the place like Terry Nutkins, missing the tops of your fingers. It's another one for the kids in the audience there. Another one of my on-point, relevant comparisons.
They look flocking good, indeed. Oh, Tuffy is outside. I hope you don't catch any of the bright evil day star. Cheers.
Oh. If you set fire to the school, I think you can go home. But there is, after the Fenskes, his little house in the prairie. And now the theme tune stuck in my head. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum.
Oh god, now please don't. Don't infuse that now.
The homecoming episode of Little House. Weirdly, I was talking about making foam core houses in a sort of jerry can recently. Wasn't actually doing it. I was putting together something that was very similar. We don't see enough of them. Yes, Rumbly. That is a very on point. Actually, it's very apropos for us, because he did, after all, lose his fingertips to some wild otters. So that was great. It's true.
Oh.
He was on I want to say a Scottish island, which was like an otter sanctuary or something. They would put volunteers there for a couple of months every year to look after them. And he was waiting on a boat coming in and was getting too friendly with the otters and forgot they were wild animals. And one of them bit the top of his finger off. And then while he was waiting on the boat returning with more like provisions in a couple of days so he could go, I'm missing the top of my finger, he lost the stump on one of the others to another otter. So he ended up missing 2 fingertips due to otter attacks. It's good. It's good times.
Oh god. Yellow polka dot bikini. Nope.
Who knows? Who knows, Nick? It could be Timmy Mallet. I once had a picture of a leprechaun I drew shown on Mallet's Mallet in the morning. So there we go. Yep, never get too friendly with an otter. He'll take your tip off for an hour for an hour. We can only be thankful he started with fingering them. Otherwise, it could be much, much worse. But yes,
God.
the house. The house is great. I really like the only thing we're missing there is obviously a look at it fully painted. We shall have to wait for a future post for that one.
I really like, especially that you can see that the shingles on the roof are individually cut.
Yes. Now, the pedant in me would say the chimney bricks are probably
too big.
Yeah. For 20 mil, and I would overlap the shingles a bit more. But you know,
well, the shingling I can look past, because I have seen in real life roofs of small sheds with tar paper that are made in a similar fashion where there's no overlapping for whatever reason.
Yeah, but I'm fairly certain that would be wooden shingles on a American Civil War house.
Potentially, yes.
So, but I'm sure it'll paint up a treat anyway, regardless.
I like his DIY movement trays.
Yep, little skirmish bases. Irregular skirmish bases. And notice the best part about those irregular skirmish bases / movement trays.
Let me guess. Square bases.
Yeah, like nature intended. Why would you not have them on square bases? Anything else would be fucking madness. Madness!
Just look at this. This is so wholesome.
It's great. And I mean, I know some people, they say it's an expensive hobby that we do, and it can be, like most hobbies. But I often get there's a certain amount of po-faced snobbery when people look at things going, oh, it's so expensive. And you go, well, you can buy cheaper things. Oh, it doesn't look as good. You go, well, don't complain about the price.
There's a reason
if
to it.
If you're not going to do that. But those boxes are, I've not bought one in a while, but I think they're still around about £6 for a 20mm box. And there are so many manufacturers making so many boxes that cover so many different periods that you can play pretty much any historical game you want, and a few fantasy games as well, just using the 1/72 things. A couple of boxes of them. I mean, you could refight Rogue's Drift. I've got stuff a friend got me years ago. You could refight Rogue's Drift for £30. Scratch build the buildings, 5 boxes. 2 of British and then 3 for Zulus, and then just recycle the Zulus, and away you go. And there's more than enough in there, and the miniatures are, depending on the age of the molds, they run the gamut from okay up to fucking spot on. You wouldn't tell the difference between those and some more expensive things. And then you've got companies like AB and people like that who you can buy metal 20mm figures for if you want to have specific commanders or things like that.
Yeah, and especially the DIY part is, I think, much underrated. If yes, you can shell out money beyond belief,
great stuff,
just to have your stuff made to order. But then again, people pay hundreds of dollars for what's it called, Dwarven Forge terrain.
Yes,
and stuff.
That sounds like something in 3D. Yeah, paper armies. There are so many places that do paper and cardstock armies these days, and terrain as well. So yeah, you can. There's no reason not to stick it down on the table.
Not really, no.
And he's done an absolutely fucking belter job painting those up, especially the Zouaves. With their little waistcoats and tiny fezzes. Go Zouaves, go.
Now, the only 2 things we need is a finished picture of the house and a battle report. I'd say. Or are we missing something else? I don't think so.
No, I'm quite content with either of those, or both, together. New line designed to fit in with plastics.
What the hell is a Waka Wave, Rumbly?
What's a what?
Rumbly wants that I give him a Waka Wave, whatever a Waka Wave is.
It could be like Waka Waka, like Fuzzy Bear.
Waka 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 Waka! I don't think that's what he meant.
I'm going to assume it is. Otherwise, what else is it going to be?
Oh, I'm too scared to ask.
I'm not.
PLA, says Toros. Well, you shut up.
Palestinian Liberation Army. Not PLA.
Oh, Timmy Mallet reference. Well, I don't know Timmy Mallet. So
he's too foreign.
Yes. Also, I'm too ignorant.
You make the shape of a W with your fingers. Maybe we'll get one at the end of the show. Who knows? Anyway.
Yeah, so speaking of end, where's the next one ending or beginning?
To be honest, I mean, wooden blocks. I've seen a really nice set of wooden blocks that somebody was playing Kriegspiel with. And and they'd printed out the facings on paper and glued them to the blocks. So when you looked at them, you had the front rank and you could see them. That was nice.
Sparks will fly. I think I've seen this project shown in some show recently for some capacity.
Doesn't sound right.
Yeah, but this is also a project that's very much DIY, use what you have and make things look awesome. And I think they did a great job with using their Nerf guns.
Yeah, when we were looking at it, I couldn't even go through half of it, which is a terrible shame. But it's the combination of plastic Nerf bits and pieces, tubing,
MDF,
and then the MDF, because it hides the feelings of MDF particularly nicely when you start incorporating other pieces in like that with the curves and the structures you couldn't really have. Because you're limited to flat panels essentially.
MDF works great for straight lines and geometric shapes and edges. But the second you try to make something that's more organic, it usually falls flat on its face.
It does indeed.
The rotation of the stairs makes me sick in my tummy.
Yeah, but whenever you click on them, they'll be the proper way around.
I like the weathering he's done, especially on the stairs where he actually went out of his way making sure that the stepping parts are weathered and the rest.
Yeah. Also, if you're going to weather something once you've assembled it, it's easier to get to those middle bits than it is.
That's true.
It naturally weathers in that area.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is always handy. I've wondered because I haven't seen Nerf guns in a long time, but I assume they're not particularly cheap to be smashing into bits for terrain.
Yes and no. If you go on Fleabay, there are people selling off old, partially assembled, partially broken, or just unpopular Nerf guns for relatively cheap.
Unpopular? Why is a Nerf gun unpopular?
Because it's a fucking franchise that's just beyond belief. There are so many different Nerf guns out there. It's yeah, and also I don't know if that's the case in other parts of the world, but some shops that are similar to Poundland have special editions coming out from Nerf that are actually official Nerf guns, but made in a very cheap way, and those are being sold off pennies for the dollar. So if you get 2 or 3 of those,
okay,
parts for days.
I suppose if push comes to shove, you can always just steal them off children in the estates around you. Because it's very easy to take them off. It's almost like taking candy off a baby.
Yeah, but that's always tricky.
That's really simple. Just take it and push them away. Who's going to believe an adult has stolen sweets off them?
I've got enough Nerf guns in my closet.
Oh, so you're one step away from building a Necromunda table. That's what you're telling us.
Well, that would mean I would have to buy stuff from Games Workshop, and that's not going to happen.
Nah, you don't have to. You get a really nice Delac gang from Andy at Heresy.
Oh,
I know that because I've got them somewhere in a box. I had high hopes of playing Necromunda again. I can't be arsed.
I really hope Andy is getting past the current low point in his financial life soon.
I would love it, but I can't see it. He's been riding the catastrophe curve for years, so I don't think he's ever going to be big enough that he's not going to be suffering from being sort of on the cusp. It would be great if he could, but I think he's always going to be one of those sort of, smaller.
I wonder, has he ever made... Did he ever try to get into bigger companies as a sculptor? Because his work is great.
I don't think so. He was at GW as retail, which is where he learned some of the sculpting techniques. Because he would get some of the sculptors to show him tips and tricks and stuff at head office whenever he was there. But he never actually sculpted for GW, if memory serves. He just started doing his own thing.
And he's doing great stuff, even with reworking old miniatures to make them work again in different mediums. Like
it's like the 25th anniversary of Heresy this week. At the moment, he's got some new things / limited things up at the moment.
Yeah, and if it weren't for the bloody import tax, I'd buy stuff from him, but it's just not feasible.
I don't know why all these people complain about the import tax, because I order stuff from Europe all the time and I order stuff from Great Britain all the time, and I don't get any import taxes at all. I don't know what both sides of you are talking about.
Hey, fuck you.
Oh, the fucking dragon, yeah. I must buy some more of the big 3-up Skelly Bobs. Because I've got a couple of them kicking around. Don't know where. Don't know why I'm buying them either. Sake of completeness, I suppose. Came on giant round bases. They're not fucking staying on those, I'm telling you that. I've got some 50mm squares here they're going on.
And isn't he selling miniatures with bases as option?
Oh yeah, he always has. You can supply your own.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Because the last batch I bought of him was actually coming on hex bases. Just because I wanted hex bases for other stuff, and supplied surplus round bases to the miniatures I got from him.
It's all about the hex.
Back to the project. I'm scrolling through and people are looking in awe at the pictures. It's just, I love how a simple paint job makes these things really go. Yeah, this is not a weird assembly of plastic parts. This is actually a building, functional.
Well, it's whenever you read the bit alongside it, where he's explaining, this isn't just a Nerf gun that's firing at the ceiling. This is a reactor, whatever. There's a bit of a story going behind it and some sort of theme as to why there's a big spiraling thing, big brutal industrial doohickey. I love that wall. I said it in the sexual BS. I'll say it again. As far as a gameplay piece goes, completely fucking pointless. But just as a nice backdrop across one end of the board.
Yeah. A, for taking pictures,
Cracking.
and B, for just having something different on the board.
Yes, Crispin added to the Planet Destroyer. Yes. Good, Crispin. Good.
You might want to go to the mega range of guns from Nerf. They have a higher caliber.
PCB is a nice touch. Yeah, there's all sorts of things cannibalized to add the greeblies.
Yeah, I see a dead printer mechanism. Mechanism.
If my printer doesn't start fucking playing ball with me, it can find itself cannibalized for scenery parts. So watching you printer, can't.
But this is a new jerry can. This is how you disassemble your printer. Whack.
Oh, it'd be very similar to disassembling the fax machine from Office Space. Just the choice of music might change.
Oh god, yeah, that was something.
It is indeed. Sticking him out with his dirty down. Like I say, that's only page 1 of 2.
Yeah, and
so
it already shows.
He did say, because he hopped in the ComSpot post, I think, Might have been in the XOBS. Anyway, regardless, he had essentially spammed the forum in a very short time frame because he's been working on this for a few months now. But as he's been working, he's been photographing it, and it was like where I got to the point where it's almost complete. Then just upload it all, which in and of itself was a fucking feat. Because I mean, we've all tried to use that project system to dump a load of stuff in there.
Yeah, not going to go.
You need to watch out, Nick. Printers can smell fear. If your printer knows that you wanted to print something and that you maybe are time sensitive as well.
Yeah, that's always a no-go.
It's like a chump to a shark.
Well, but the worst part is if you have a color ink printer and you run out of one color and you need to print something in black and white, and now I need my magenta.
Can't do it. Can't do it without cyan. You're going, really? Fucking why?
You've got a special black cartridge for just black and white. Why can't you print this? Because reasons. Oh, as a side note, we all know companies are the worst.
Yes.
And Hewlett Packard have made.
I fucking knew it was going to be them.
Well, you can get a subscription model of ink. But there's in the fine print it says, yeah, you can never use any other brand.
Yep.
And if you stop your subscription, your printer ceases to work.
They're a special genre of bastards, really.
It's just, I mean, I remember my first printer was an HP 500 something DeskJet black and white inkjet printer that worked like a charm for ages, and you could refill the cartridge with a syringe, no problem. And today, yeah, color printer, ink, good luck.
Yeah, I'm surprised the EU haven't done something about that yet.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there will be. No wonder you
if
actually.
they're slapping Apple down for taking the piss with their charging cables, it's only a matter of time before printer manufacturers get told to wind their necks in on that one.
Yeah, but it's actually a subscription. Every time your printer runs low on ink, it places an order with HP, and they send you a new set of ink. I'm guessing for a low fee or something.
Mm. Oh, laser printer, fancy.
Yeah, that's mainly the reason why I went with a multi-function machine, black and white laser printer some years ago. It's just financially more viable. Plus, nobody cares about toner.
Well, that's true. I knew Chris Toner and he was a prick.
Yeah, Demon Sub, it is just a sponge soaked in ink, but there's a little chip inside that counts how many pages you've printed, and at a certain point it just goes, nope, I'm empty.
My favourite is whenever it goes, I'm not printing that. I'm not printing that. I can't print that. I've got no ink. I'm not printing that. And then you take the cartridges out and put it in, and then it prints a test page. And then it goes, no, definitely not ink. You've just fucking printed a test page. I know you've got ink, you bastard.
Yeah.
I will shake you like an English nanny.
Speaking of shaking, where do we go now?
Thermal printer. I've got a thermal printer for my ZX.
Oh, God.
It's about that wide. Takes a little... actually, it's not thermal. It'd be dot matrix. But it's still about that wide. It's like receipt roll. You get strips. Anyway, shall we?
Shall we go to the next?
Let's, because otherwise I don't think I'm going to survive the night.
That'd be a terrible shame.
Well, it's only a matter of time. It'll certainly be a shame for the Spaniards who have travelled across to film tomorrow if I turn up dead.
So Green Stuff...
Fanatic.
Fantastic. I was just going to say Green Stuff Maniac for some reason.
Also, yes.
Well, he might as well be a maniac when he's sculpting his own 15mm minis.
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you? It's so much fun.
I tried it once. It was horrible.
You should try again. Maybe it'll be less horrible. Every time you try it, it gets slightly less horrible until eventually you win.
I somehow doubt. I'm artistically not very good at 3D stuff. I can build things, but well, making things from scratch is
Exactly, Crispin. Once you've got a bit of slack there, you'd be surprised. Always usually. Yeah, the miniatures have been going since January, but we're starting to see some of them painted up as well. So again, it's a really nice little project, and showing you don't have to run everything in the size or rule set. So in this case, dropping down to 15mm and then using one-page rules combined with Gang Wars supplement from the original Necromunda, I believe, to cobble together his own version of Necromunda, which, right off the bat is genius. I love that guy. He looks like one of those monks, one of those, can't remember the name, Sushi, is that it? Japanese little fighty monks, especially whenever he's got the white and yellow painting on it.
I was thinking more of the blind guy in Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah, I wouldn't think of him. Don't think of him. Never think of him. I'm not saying I didn't like the character. He had some interesting moments, but then at the same time, he flicked dirt into the face of 5 men wearing helmets, and they all covered their eyes and stumbled about as if they'd been blinded. And it was like, I'm sure that makes sense in any of his little Hong Kong kung fu action films, when people aren't wearing full visored space helmets for their stormtrooper armor. But when they are, and you flick dirt at them, they shouldn't be going, they should be going, did you just flick dirt at me? And then shoot him repeatedly in the face with a gun. That's what should have happened.
I guess you could explain it partially by just a reflex, having things thrown at you. Maybe if it were gravel and not dirt, it may have been a more reasonable response.
Well, not really. Did I paint my resin ratkin? No, not yet. The one who's somewhere here. This one. I haven't painted him yet. Mostly because when I went to glue him together, I realised I've misplaced one of his arms. I'm not sure where it is.
On his back.
No. Wasn't in the bag. I did put together my tiny little goblin, though, with his dwarven fireball firing fisty gauntlets. So, don't know what we're going to do with those. I do know what we're going to do with them. They're going to lead 2 fucking armies in Kings of War. That's what we're going to do with them. But I don't know when I'm going to do it.
He's doing such a nice job on his modeling side. I wonder why not make multiples and sell them off.
It's a pain in the hole, I think.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's one thing to sculpt. Casting without flaws is a whole other ball game.
Yeah, I think that's the point behind it. Yeah, I guess you're right. Still, I think there would be many people who'd like these tiny fighting green peoples.
Oh, I'm sure there are. But then they just need to break out the green stuff and give it a go themselves.
You know what's the best part about hand-sculpted miniatures?
The computers won't know what guns look like when they rise up.
0 fucking mold lines.
Oh, okay.
Not one.
But you might be able to see his fingerprints.
Yeah, but that can always be smoothed.
Smooth like the bum of an Escher. Look at that one. Look at it. It's so round, shiny. A lot of time has been put into smoothing that bum.
Oh, why does this remind me of a episode of QI with Stephen Fry and his children polishing? Oh God, children buffing adventures. Yeah, you'll be the shiny one.
Just, yes, the children with the little shiny faces.
You'll get in front of the of the window.
Meh, lacquer the child.
Oh
What's,
God.
Acetone. If you're using green stuff, acetone is a very good way of removing fingerprints and wrinkles and stuff. You can just sort of brush it on. I think isopropyl alcohol will probably work as well at a pinch, but if you're doing sculpting, it's a good way of getting rid of blemishes and smoothing out the actual finish. Just FYI.
So
Especially if you've got fingerprints so people can't unlock your eye cunt or whatever. MacLeod works as well.
that would have been such a great story that somewhere someone makes commissions a miniature to be made for him personally, and then uses the sculptor's fingerprint on the miniature to steal from the sculptor.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I could recreate most of Boris's hand
Oh,
from various miniatures.
You probably have enough DNA from Boris to clone him.
Oh, if only. If only. Could you imagine that? The clonings. Isn't it? Wasn't it?
Yes.
How magical would that be? Only a matter of time.
So where do we go from 50
Won't have
million
any
Necromunda?
rights in law at all, because he won't be counted as a person. He'd just be mine.
Oh yeah, Painting Face today, the episode with Gary Morley was nice, even though the lad was a bit quiet at times.
What
Could have
lad?
been a bit
Gary
more.
or the person talking to him?
No, Gary did get, well, he really didn't get quiet, but he leaned very far back, and the microphone wasn't very good at picking up far back. Excuse-moi, Ali Arani. Boiling metal could be my future if temperatures keep up,
I mean, it's only a matter of time.
I guess. So, our next venture then is Warhammer Fantasy in 15 mil by
15
Whammer
mil
Grimace.
by Whamster Grimace.
This is just a short update because he's doing his updates on the YouTubes.
Yes.
So
Like-
if you want to see his stuff, you need to go to the YouTubes. And I
Well-
don't know why the other one is not loading here.
Because that's not a proper embed. That's one of those short videos for like a TikTok child.
Oh god.
So it doesn't fit in there because it's not a real video.
Oh no, we're going to get copyright. Oh no, oh no.
Are you? Well, I won't because I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm worried that he's still up with the video if he's using the Imperial March. That's usually not a good thing.
Ah, it's fine. Tell him
That's
it's not the
an
Imperial March,
easy
tell him
way to
something
get nuked from orbit. Yeah, little tiny 50 mil miniatures. Having some bears. Bear of a time.
Yeah, interesting mixture of minis. Come from a few different companies. Cobblestone's in there, and I think some of the monsters come from. No, it's gone. It'll come back to me anyway.
How
Yeah,
Ralph?
it's a good way of doing
Yes,
it.
I did. We need to talk about that on a different location. Occasion, not location. Bloody me.
There's a lot to be said about 15 mil for scaling, like the 20 mil stuff earlier. You can do more with less.
Save space, definitely.
Bigger armies, more on the table. Obviously, better if they had the proper base size, especially if you plan on playing Warhammer. But you can't have everything. Look at them, fucking round.
That's I'm guessing that's just a shortcomings.
It's an outrage, is what it is. Never mind shortcomings. It's a fucking outrage.
Then let's go to the next project before you start to enrage yourself.
Outrage. I'm fascinated as to what they're going to be run as. I imagine chaos. Unless he's going way, way back for Norsca. But they didn't have a particularly good list, so time will tell. But yeah, tiny little hamsters.
Tiny little hamsters.
Tiny little hamsters. Right.
A reoccurring guest by Apple Mac. And he's really, really pushing it, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he's got to do something. Keep himself amused while he's waiting on his son catching him up. What's the best thing to do? Whittle yourself a longboat. All about the whittling. Whittle.
This is DIY as it should be. Just using bits and bobs.
Yeah, in this case, a massive chunk of balsa wood, because as I've already said, balsa wood's great for working with. You too can whittle yourself down the hull of a ship and then go nuts with it. I'm getting a couple of Viking ships in tiny scale at some point.
How
that
tiny?
Kickstarter I backed. No idea
How
what the
tiny?
Kickstarter was.
Very tiny or very, very, very tiny?
I don't know. I'd have to know what it was I backed. All I remember is they were Australian and Ben was showing us it in the weekend. I was like, oh fuck, I'm backing this. It's little Viking naval game. I want to say they're 10 mil.
Oh, I remember that, where you can actually put your miniatures into the boat. Yeah, I do remember.
The fjord serpents, apparently. Oh,
Fjord?
sweet zombie Jesus. Sorry, it's the heat there.
It's the steam venting. That's all right.
Apparently. Just waiting for my PC to fucking explode. Set me on fire. Anyway, back to Aptly Back. Yeah, so a bit of a sojourn away from Tiny Fighting Men into a whole host of terrain. As is Apple's want, scratch built is the order of the day. So some really nice bits and pieces in there, from his wreck tower to his cork-based haystacks, which, by the way, are great. And if people are looking for some scatter terrain for Dark Age fields, those haystacks are fucking spot on. Look, scrubbers.
Yeah, it's so easy once you see how it's done. But I think what differentiates a good terrain or a good hobbyist from a mediocre one is the good ones really see the opportunity in the material, and the ones like me just look at it and see, yeah, that's stuff. I never would have thought to use a cork and modeling clay to do haystacks.
Hey, you know.
It's just brilliant.
Makes sense. Oh, Christ. There's some trees coming up. Beat, if you haven't seen them already. He wired them up, then used wire wool to make the foliage, because I knew you were looking for some umbrella pines. So that might be a way of doing it.
Oh,
You could work all the way up to World War II. Yeah, anything pre-industrialization of farming, you're quite as long as people haven't progressed to the point where they're doing hay bales, which is what, 50s or 60s maybe, before they started automating that. the haystack is spot on. It's the nice thing about playing historics. Once you've started making trees and stuff like that, they work for all periods.
I must say these trees are a fire hazard.
Only if you stick a battery on them. They're fine.
Yeah.
There's dark.
Hello, Dan.
Hello. Shouldn't you be resting?
Is he sick?
He
What?
was off exerting himself. It screamed itself to death at UK Games Expo.
Oh, the wallet.
Oh, the wallet. Best say nothing at casual. UKGE, where Moonstone became a multi-award-winning game.
Have you seen the tweet they did?
No, have I?
I've put it.
No, because I don't have Twitter. So
I've put a screenshot in the forums. That it was basically, yeah, we're still on our first edition. We won multiple awards. We're going to relax now. And then there's a picture of a dachshund with a cucumber slices on his face and a towel on his head,
Good.
relaxing.
That's the way to do it.
I was like, well, yeah. You've got balls.
What can you say?
Let me see if I can find that quickly, just to show people's if the anything works while we're here. Where is it? Beast of War is not responding. That's great. Well, oh, is it now? Get here. Hang on a sec.
Do 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 do.
Now let's put it in here that all can see.
I had to go back last day and pick up Winston. Forgot. Oh, that was a rookie mistake.
There's it. We're still on first edition with only 2 small errata. More content is coming. We recently won 4 awards at UK Games Expo, and all cards are available to download for free from our website. We're going back to our relaxing weekend now. Leviathan, play Moonstone.
Play the multi-award-winning Winston. As I kept trying to tell David and Paul. They kept just referring to it as Moonstone without putting multi-award-winning in front of it. It's terrible, really.
Yeah, but the sheer audacity.
Fuck it. Why not? Why not? We did it right first time out of the traps, folks.
Yeah.
Now we're going to kick back, smoke a joint.
Especially the part about, yeah, only 2 small errata because we cared to do our due diligence and playtest things properly. After having such relaxed dachshund, where do we go next?
I think here he said
Manda is oiling up naked Greeks. No, just what's it called?
shame.
Webster miniatures.
Kind of everything.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Even though I'd like to have everything.
Jumping on board the choo-choo oil train. Not enough people use oils, I feel.
Where
It does make life much easier for certain things because cleanup is relatively simple compared to trying enamels or acrylics where you're having to fight before they completely set. You've just got so much time. It's a fucking gift.
Yeah, but
this is using the oil brushers.
But on the counter side is you need to wait ages before things are dried.
You know, depends.
I'm a very impatient man, so I'm probably never going near oils in the near future. And in the far future, they will be probably way too expensive because oil.
I'll be fine. Once the Soviets have fucked off out of Ukraine, we'll be back on board with the big oils again. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much post work you do, Amanda, but in a lot of cases, oils are one of the last things to go on. So you're finished, you do the cleanup, and then once it's dry, you can give it a final varnish and move on with your life. So you're not having to go back. But even watching somebody like Marco, when he's doing it,
Hello there.
once he does the clean off, he's not going back into the areas that have oils on them again. So he literally starts doing acrylic highlights right over the top pretty much 5 minutes later. So don't even do a varnish at the end, you fiend.
Yeah, that's
Fortunate.
a selection of how to start in oils.
Well, it's not how to start in oils. It's here's everything you'll ever need. My how to start in oils was a £5 cheap box of artist oil paints. That's how I started, and a £1 bottle of white spirits. That's all you need. You know, total outlay £6, and I still have most of the oil paints. So there's a lot to be said about it, Damon, especially if you're doing something like if you're using contrasts / speed paint / express paint / whatever fucking name they have next week. They can have a very washed out pastel feel to them, but then you can go in with a oil wash and it gives a sort of a richness to the underlying acrylics very quickly. So
Why is this sentry bot so fuzzy and hairy, Amanda?
there's reasons.
Hasn't he shaved?
There's no need to be like that.
I guess that's how miniatures would look if you are into painting them with oils and then you have some kind of animal in your household, be it cat, dog, anything furry. Hairy bot.
So, tiny fly. There is a tiny fly. Fuck off, tiny fly.
Die, tiny fly, die!
Missed. Bastard. But look at him. Standing there all majestic, legs akimbo in the actor's pose. No, is the winter of our discontent. Mid glorious summer.
We finally meet again. And somewhere in the background, somebody plays the mouth harp.
Nobody say Macbeth, that's all.
Macbeth? Well, lucky us that we don't plan a play tomorrow. So either way, we should have made weird things. Like in the Blackaddery.
2 days' time, the new Blackadder episode comes out. Looking forward to that.
I guess, yeah.
I am. I'm curious to see what it is.
I'm hoping for a decentralized copy somewhere on the Magic Drive internet.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt, nobody's going to be watching it on UK Gold because I don't think anybody has UK Gold. So we just have to wait for somebody to upload that. But I imagine it'll be short order after they've put it out there. Then we can all watch it and go, wow, I can see why they filmed a second pilot 2 years later. You know.
Yeah, there's a slight possibility of that.
Could be that. Who knows?
Where's our journey taking us now?
To this computery game.
Yes, Denzian is going full on ham on Fallout.
Yeah, which is so unlike him because normally he's a bit slipshod, fly by night, work shy. Does just the bare minimum to get by in any of his projects and then wanders off, getting all confused and bored. But for some reason this time he's decided to go a bit deeper.
A bit deeper is a slight understatement, I think. To be absolutely fair, he's doing in this project what my mind is doing many a times when I think of something to build and then I just don't do it.
Well, why would you? I mean, I wouldn't.
It's just amazing. The only annoying part about this project is it's flocking 3D printed.
Well, not all of it. I'm pretty sure those benches and tables come from Star Saga.
Maybe, but most of the rest is via the medium of black magic.
Black magic.
Black magic woman.
So this is a computer game, like what the kids play.
Mm-hmm.
They tell me, and presumably the various bits and bobs that are being distressed and painted up are STL. Now I know Modiphius did some STLs.
Yeah, I guess those are all the official STLs. The wall sections, the entry
Coffee machines and stuff like that.
Yeah, and also he has a book of the artwork of Fallout 4.
Oh,
so
it's all 3D. You could have saved yourself time and effort just by getting the Dungeon Saga or Star Saga man. We're done before. I'm having 3D issues. 3D issues. I have 3D issues. Whenever anybody goes, you should do 3D printing. That's my main issue. Why the fuck would I do that?
At some point in the recent past, someone suggested to me or asked me what it take to get me into 3D printing.
Bricks and pliers. We all know that. It's even on a t-shirt.
The actual technology of 3D printing is interesting, but it's nothing I would want for the hobby. Simply because it would make me more lazy than I already am.
Ugh.
If that's even possible.
Down to it, DD. Down to it. You had a 3D print burst open in the heat and spill resin all over your...
Yeah. Why?
So it was
Jerry,
full of like uncured resin. Is that what you're saying?
where's the next project? Because this is still ongoing and already finished. Let's go to the next project.
You're just the worst. Absolute worst. I'm still scrolling there looking at things. Have a printer in the main house. Oh,
So
slowly
there-
moving away from doing everything at work, Crispin.
There's the reason why you don't 3D print. Sorry, Danley. I've seen this. I'm really sorry for your loss of the work you put into Kratos, but this is horrible. I can't think of any scenario where that would have happened with a classic board miniature, be it resin, metal, or plastic.
It is very well. I don't know if they would explode in the heat, but it is possible to get uncured resin or partially cured.
Yeah, but at that point, you can blame the
get...
manufacturer for doing.
Oh yeah,
no,
100%. Right. If you spot it, but you get this thing where it's called they sweat. It's like a fucking religious icon or statue, weeping type of thing. Yeah. There's bowel poop.
And later you find out it's just a leaking toilet.
Fair. I think it was, wasn't it? The fuck it was. Get in.
Yeah, and as I've seen the picture the first time, I thought the red arrow was just indicating that this poor fellow somehow got a drop on the side, and only at second glance I seen that this all is uncured resin pouring everywhere. which is a nightmare.
Oh, the resin cure can glue the models to the shelf. At least, presumably that's a glass shelf they're on, so it should come off relatively easy.
I hope so.
Could you imagine if it was a porous shelf in some respects? That would be terrible. Look, there's Boris Johnson. Hi, Boris. Yeah, massive prick. Dead now. Bye.
He's got them off with wallpaper scraper.
There you go.
It's, yeah.
See, that's why I let somebody else do it. Somebody whose job it is to produce things for me in resin. That way I never have to think or anything. It's very calming. It's like watching a Michael Palin TV show.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I probably will never get into 3D printing by these means of technology. I'd be ruining everything all of the time.
Oh, I just have absolutely no interest in it. It's like a lot of other things in life, like computer consoles. Couldn't give a fuck. Had an N64 once. It was fun. That's it. not doing any of those again. Don't need to.
Yeah, it's but life would be terribly boring if we all had the same interests, wouldn't it?
That's true.
Also,
Although
we
it'd be a lot
wouldn't
better
have
if everybody
anything to
knuckled
complain
down and
about.
just went square bases. That'd be good.
You know, when my time comes,
Yes.
someday in the future, I
Buried
will
with
be
little square bases.
cremated,
Don't you worry about it. I will do it.
and I think I will have my my urn sit on a rectangular base.
Rogue Squadron, GoldenEye, Mario Kart.
Oh yeah,
They
Rogue
were all
Squadron was great.
clinker sham, as I believe they say. Hookers and Blue obviously is that's how you end up needing the urn.
Well, who knows? Could be dead by tomorrow. When if this temperature keeps on,
Yeah.
I
Time
could
will
be
tell.
a puddle of sweat.
We'll find out next Tuesday if you're dead. If nobody's going, where are you to me? Yeah. No, I should be around next Tuesday.
Well,
I've got Carlos is over filming some Infinity stuff. Soap's not here, is he? No, it's fine. So yeah, busy next week. Busy.
we'll see. We'll make it work. Things will happen or not.
I like being the voice of reason sometimes, Stanley. I mean, I can see why it would exist. Not for me. Well, I want fuck all to do with it, but I can see other people wanting it. But the whole idea that people wouldn't be is because I know people with VR headsets already. It's just they're already out there.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is something. I mean, maybe if an AI had told them that VR headsets were going to be the future of gaming, he'd be a lot more on board for it. Maybe Chat TCP will tell him some shit or whatever. I don't know. Oh, you're coming up for RPG Day? Sweet. I've got Listen behind me that I'm rereading.
Maybe Warren is just so against VR because he tried it and got sick.
That's true. VR is niche tech and never going to get better. See, you say that, but
I know people who would argue against that.
As long as they see a reason to develop it further and make it better, it will get better. If there's not a market in it, then it'll go the way they do. But it's like home computers. the head of IBM couldn't see a point in home computers, thought it was going to be a fad, and look at us now. They're very much the coming thing, I believe. So
Yeah, I think there will be things very much that lend themselves to VR headsets, like racing sims are great for that, or flight sims, anything where you still sit. Walking things, not so good.
well, that's it, yeah. Although I do like watching those videos of people punching children in the face and stuff, because they let a child wander around while they're doing a VR boxing game.
Yeah, or killing their enormous plasma TV.
Yeah, all of these things are great, because it just goes to show that they're idiots.
Have you happened to see the video where they put grandma in a horror shooter and grandma totally freaks?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Is it as good as that family who were having a drink for grandma's birthday, and she saluted by the medium of Heil Hitler?
Oh God, no.
And they're, no, grandma, don't.
That's not.
So because all going, Prost, and she goes, Prost, Heil Hitler. She's going, no, grandma. Hand goes down. No. It's great. It's one of my favorite ones ever, because she does it about 3 times in a row. It's like clearly she knows where she is, and where she is sometime back in the 40s.
I was going to say that's the effects of age, when people start thinking they're back in their 20s or something. That's going to be interesting for my daughter.
Oh.
Well, lads, it has been fun. Second bottle of beer.
No, ad blocker detected. Well, I'm never taking the ad blocker off, so don't you worry about it. But there you go, folks. That is a version of it. I don't know if it's the original version, because it's not letting me play it.
Oh, hang on. It doesn't let you play it. Why wouldn't it?
Because I've got an ad block runner, and it's going, please whitelist this. Oh, no. You fail to understand why I have an ad block. I don't want to see whatever ads are on your screen, mate. So
it
if you
does run for my ad block. Hold on, so I'm going to. Where's my button? There's my button. Can we see? Yes, we can see. This is going to be very interesting.
Whoa! Alexa.
Nein. Nicht. Nochmal neu. Mach nochmal neu.
Prost!
So, letzter
double down,
Versuch.
Grandma, double down. Why? Oh, look at me like this.
God.
Prost!
Yeah, I guess that's somebody who's absolutely beyond.
Good times.
Oh. I wish I could say I will be aging with more grace, but I highly doubt it.
Nope. Why age gracefully? Where's the fun in that? Oh, fucking hell.
Crash and burn, then to fade away.
Might work. Go out in style, yep. Oh, that's the best way, Crispin. Now, ideally, you want to be saying that over your shoulder to a bus full of screaming children.
Yes. So, again, thanks everybody. You folk on YouTube, do your socially bits. I think we're out. I'm trying to lodge myself off this chair with all the sweat and grime. Hope to see you next week, if I haven't blown myself up with the newly acquired gas grill.
It's for you to say.
Indeed it is. Have a good night.
Tatty bye.